Hey, Forest Vance here, owner of FPT Bootcamp Kettlebell Gym here in Sacramento, California, author of the CORE Kettlebell Challenge. Today I'm going to show you how to do kettlebell swings. So we're going to go through a kettlebell swing tutorial today. I'm going to break down the movement. This is going to be kind of a fast run through, but after you watch this video, you should have a basic idea how to safely and effectively do kettlebell swings. And then I'm also going to go over through a couple common mistakes and how to fix them on the exercise. Let's just hop right into it. So obviously you need to grab where you're starting. If you're a fairly fit man, I'd probably say start with a 20 or a 24 kilo. So that's probably like 44 to 53 pounds for the two-hand swings. If you're just kind of getting into it, you can go a little bit lighter. Even for people that are more advanced, if you haven't done the movement before, I'd probably go stick with that to start. For women, I'd probably go with anywhere from the 12 to the 16 kilo, which is like the 26 to the 35 pound. If you're fairly fit, but you're just learning how to do the exercise. And then I'd say if you're just getting into it, you can go lighter than that. And again, you can scale up and go heavier once you get stronger. And a lot of people think they know how to do kettlebell swings these days, but 9 times out of 10, if you were to come in here and work with me, I'd show you something that you can improve on your form. So stick with me, watch this video. This is the base and core of all your other kettlebell moves. So I think you're going to want to check this stuff out. So the first thing I want you to look at, we're going to do this video. I want you to get set up with your kettlebell right between your feet. So if you're watching this, I would encourage you, follow along, grab your kettlebell, do this with me, or come back and watch it again when you can follow along and do this with me. So you get the kettlebell between your feet, and we're going to go ahead and practice our hinge. So what we're doing here is, if I'm facing away from this wall, I want to think, drive my hips back towards this wall, and my hips should touch the wall. And so what should happen is, my hips should go back, I should end up with my hips higher than my knees, right? And my shoulders higher than my hips at the bottom. We're just going to do a couple reps here, and we're going to do this without even picking up the bell, okay? So what common mistake here, what ends up, sometimes people will do too much squat, their hips at the same level as their knees, or they'll pitch forward too much here, and now my hips and my shoulders at the same level. We kind of want to be somewhere in between those two extremes. That's what we call our hip hinge. And that's the base of this movement of our swing. So now, let's go ahead and pick this kettlebell up. Okay? I'll just turn this way so you can see me maybe a little bit better. So the idea is, I'm hinging. I'm pulling those hips back, grab the bell, stand up, and come back down. And so every time you pick up the bell, I want you to almost think about like you're pressing your feet into the floor, and then you're simultaneously pulling up on the kettlebell. So it's almost like you're generating some tension here with those shoulders. Drive through the feet, stand up, and come back down. Don't rush through this. Make sure that you got this down. You got to be able to do this slow and in slow motion before you do it quickly, right? Because we're ballistically tossing this kettlebell between our legs. We want to make sure that we can control our body position, our core, our shoulders, our lower body before we speed it up. Once you get that down, you feel pretty good with that hinge pattern, we can go ahead. The next step I'm going to have you do is what we call a half swing. So a real common mistake, I'll go over this at the end of the video a little bit later, is people use too much upper body, and they think that they have to raise this kettlebell up high. With the HardStyle swing, which is what I teach and specialize in, is HardStyle kettlebell training, the bell is just going to come up however high it goes based on how much lower body you use to drive the bell. So the half swing, we're going to set up with this bell maybe a foot or two in front of us. We're just going to use the hip drive. That's all we're focusing on. So the bell probably ends up coming up to maybe like waistband level. So I'm here, I hike past this weight back like I'm hike passing a football. I'm going to do 5, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to park this bell. So as you can see, I'm not lifting that bell at all. I'm just thinking about snap my hips. The bell just maybe comes up to about waistband level. And that's a good drill you can do to get you ready for the kettlebell swings. So now let's just do 5 more. And let that bell come up a little higher. As you can see, it's probably actually not coming up all that much higher than the half swing. And so that's a simple little progression that you can use to do your 2-hand kettlebell swing. So now let's go ahead and go into some common mistakes and fixes with this movement. I could probably go on all day, but I'm just going to talk about 3 big ones. So the first one that I'm just thinking of stuff that I commonly see when we're training here people in person at our gym. Maybe that have been coming in like you, maybe have done some kettlebell swings here and there, but haven't really got real top-notch expert instruction on it. One thing people do is, and again, we do the HardStyle of kettlebell training, so this just applies to this. This is not applying to other varieties and other styles and stuff like that. That's not my expertise. But one thing people do is they're too relaxed. So, they'll go down and get the kettlebell. So instead of tightening the body up, they'll kind of be here, and their shoulders will be back, and their back will be rounded. I'm not even going to do this because it probably hurt my back. And then they'll kind of flop around, let their feet roll out, do different things like this when they're doing their swings. So we don't want to do that because, especially if we're using this style of form, it's not as safe. It doesn't protect our back, and we don't get as much power. So one great drill you can actually do for this is we can get you down. I'll have people actually get down into a high plank. So I would have somebody come down and hold this high plank position right here. So I'm holding the top of a push-up, and I'm really thinking about, okay, I'm tightening my lower body. I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm pinching a coin. I'm tightening my upper body. I'm looking kind of right in front of my hands a little bit. And I'm tightening my whole body up and focusing on really getting total body tension. And then I'm going to come over and get my kettlebell and kind of transfer that over if I can. So now I get set up here. I go down and grab my bell. Now instead of being loose, I'm tight. And then when I come up to my top, it's almost like I'm in a standing plank. And also, just getting down there and thinking about muscle activation at the right time will help you sort of transfer it into that kettlebell swing. So that's kind of your first mistake, is not just having enough tension in the movement, and there's a quick way to fix it. Second kettlebell go over is the squat and front raise swing. So that kind of goes back to that deadlift drill that we did before. Double check yourself. Have someone look at you, take a picture. Make sure that when you get down to this deadlift position, you're here. Hips above the knees, shoulders above the hips, right? Otherwise, you're going to get this, and then you're going to be trying to sort of squat and trying to sort of pick this kettlebell up, which is definitely not efficient. And we don't want to do that. So another little trick you can use for that one is to do what we call an imaginary swing. So you have the deadlift down, or you feel like it, then rehearse and practice and go like this. Hike past this bell back, snap the hips, let the imaginary kettlebell come up to your shoulders, bring it back down. You're going to go back and forth and do the movement nice and slow with no weight. And make sure you can hit all those different positions of the swing, right? And again, I'm doing a very quick overview. I could do this for a couple hours, but I'm just giving you kind of a crash course in the swing. I'm not going over every little single detail. This should give you a basic idea. So do my swing very slow, and then when I get back to doing it at full speed, now I've rehearsed, and my body knows where to go when I do it. So there is a second thing. So I see a lot of people do that, squat and front raise, and a couple of tips to fix it. Now, we're going to go over our third mistake I see on the kettlebell swings and how to fix it. And this has to do with your eye position. So what I see people do is either look down at the ground, and then that throws them off and tips them forward, or they look up at the ceiling. And that also overextends your back and cranks on your neck. So I did a blog post this on recently, but the idea is it's called the pelvo-ocular reflex. So what it basically says is where your eyes go, your head goes, and where your head goes, your hips and pelvic region will follow. So if I look down, it's going to force me forward. If I look up, it's going to overextend my back and crack on my neck. A real good cue, if you're indoors, think about where the wall meets the floor. So you're kind of looking slightly down. I'm like super close to a wall right here, so I might not look all the way down there, maybe up a little bit. If I was like in the middle of a larger room where the wall meets the floor. Another cue I've heard is if you're outside, look down at the horizon. So either one of those cues will kind of keep you where you want to be. So you're not looking up and cracking on your neck. You're not looking down at the bell. You're just keeping your eyes in a nice, safe position there. So there's your third kettlebell swing mistake. Where the eyes are, your line of sight, and a quick little tip to show you how to fix it. So there you go. There you have your quick crash course on the two-hand kettlebell swing. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful for you. You can go over and check out our website at kettlebellbasics.net for lots more videos like this, free kettlebell workouts, and much more. Forest Vance here again, author of the CORE Kettlebell Challenge, signing off. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.